and P Diddy were partying together and enjoying life. Let's see what the new party footage of Diddy, Beyonce and Rihanna showed.
These are the Diddy pictures Hollywood doesn't want you to see. Every A-list celebrity from Leonardo DiCaprio to Mariah Carey can be seen partying with the disgraced rapper at his various get-togethers dating back to 1998. Here's a shot from one of Diddy's white parties with Kim Kardashian and Paris Hilton in the background.
A clip from a Diddy party surfaced online, showing something far from ordinary. The video begins innocently enough, but quickly takes a darker turn. A woman is shown in a bathtub, surrounded by water. As the clip progresses, suddenly smoke appears, and the girl in the bathtub seems to catch fire.
And here he is with Ashton Kutcher and Demi Moore at another party in 2009. Russell Brand, Chris Brown, Lil' Kim, Nicole Richie and Tommy Lee are just a few of the other big-name guests, while another picture from Diddy's East Hampton house shows two women pouring champagne down another woman's throat in the pool. It comes after Diddy was arrested on racketeering and sex trafficking charges.
The video raises serious questions about what's happening at these high-profile events. The narrator points out that these aren't just rumors. Some truly disturbing things are taking place at these parties. The video suggests that many people could face serious consequences as more footage like this comes to light.
Rihanna, did you attend any of P Diddy's parties? Were you involved in any of the freak-offs? That's crazy.
Here, Rihanna was being asked whether she attended P Diddy's parties.
It was a dark time for them, and I was there more as a support. That was it.
You arranging Chris and Rihanna getting back together. I don't want any girl out there thinking it's okay to go back to a guy who hit her. I don't want any girl to think that. And I don't mean to put you in that.
No, but you all put me in it. So I'm gonna speak on it. I don't think it's right for anybody to hit anybody. You know, I think that we all have to be honest with ourselves as adults. And people that have been in relationships, you know, we know sometimes those relationships get ugly. You wasn't in that car, I wasn't in that car, and it isn't right for him to put his hands on her or her to put his hands on him, and we don't know what the problem is, but we need to pray for them, and we need to do things to support them, and that's all I want to say about it.
I agree with you.
Thank you.
I want to support them. We take a break and do it afterwards?
Can we dance?
Diddy said he was there to support Chris and Rihanna in dark times, trying to get them back together.
Which engaged in sex trafficking, racketeering, kidnapping, bribery and forced labor. His lawyers say he'll fight the charges, but after the testimony you're about to hear, you'll be staggered he avoided the attention of law enforcement for so long. I'll speak to a lawyer, a whistleblower, and an insider for an uncensored insight into the showbiz scandal of a generation. And Jaguar, I'm going to start with you. You've been called a whistleblower. You knew Sean Diddy Combs for a long time. You attended.
Legal experts and insiders believe Diddy's recent legal battles could force him to reveal names and expose a much larger criminal network. While his legal team maintains his innocence, many doubt he'll escape a criminal trial unscathed.
A number of his infamous parties. And in 2022, you made headlines after comments where you called him a sex trafficker, and in response, you were called crazy and jealous. Do you feel vindicated by the events of the last few weeks?
No, not at all. Because he's just the beginning. Until him and his cohorts are all held to account publicly and legally, the victims, they're not safe.
Whistleblower Jaguar Wright, an industry insider, has long claimed that Diddy's behavior was no secret to those in the know. For years, she's spoken out about his alleged wrongdoings, but her warnings were dismissed.
How bad was it?
That's what I care about. I care about the victims.
No, I understand. How bad was it, do you think, what was going on?
I'm going to tell you right now that me, as a woman who has been in the industry for over 30 years, I've been performing live since I was 13. My first handler was McKinley Horton. I come to find out 25 years later.
Wright reflects on her experiences, revealing the industry's dark underbelly. According to her, powerful figures like Diddy have used their influence to manipulate and abuse, shielded by legal protection and industry insiders.
That a scar that was on his face with a very elaborate story he gave me was put there by a woman who he assaulted. To live through these things and hear your elders in the business, people like Patti LaBelle say, just avoid him, honey. And being taught to be just avoid him, honey. It's not good enough. Not when you live through these things, you're still suffering.
The true extent of Diddy's alleged influence, Wright explains, is not limited to personal actions, but spans across a culture of exploitation.
PTSD created by all of this, and you're talking to a victim that's 20 years younger than you, and she's telling you the exact same thing that happened to you.
Right, there's been a lot of rumor mill about what has happened in the rap world. A lot of allegations that the misogyny in the lyrics clearly was based on a general misogyny towards women away from the music. And that clearly seems to have been borne out by these charges against Diddy, which if he's found guilty of all this.
Industry figures like Clive Davis are said to have played a significant role in allowing Diddy to rise to power. Wright claims that Diddy wasn't just an artist, he was selected, groomed and protected by powerful people who benefited from his actions.
He's never coming out of prison. How dangerous do you think?
Thank God.
How dangerous do you think he is as a person?
I think he's one of the most dangerous people I've ever met. A lot of people have been questioning, well, she doesn't really know him. She has no knowledge of him. She doesn't have a picture with him. I'm smarter than Claudia Jordan. I would never take a picture with the devil. Everyone knew he was the devil. He's been the devil for 30 years.
As disturbing stories of secret parties, substance use, and human trafficking emerge, it's becoming clear that many in the industry knew what was happening, but were too afraid to speak out.
Everyone's in your comments always talking about, does she actually really ever wear her perfume? Do you?
I mean, hold on. You come in.
Okay, big C,
Hold on,
big
Caroline.
C. Pull
Hold
it
on,
out.
Caroline. I don't like this question. I feel.
Oh, you don't like it?
I feel offended.
Oh.
I feel really offended by this question.
Okay. Oh,
Would you like some?
I would. Ah! Did y'all ever get spritzed by Ree? I don't think so. Yes. And it smells like butter.
Ask me again.
What does Rihanna really smell like? Fenty Eau de Parfum. Rihanna said what she said here.
You would ASAP but not been messing around, or maybe you have. I don't know. Congratulations.
So we got here, right?
How was the second pregnancy?
It's so different from the first one.
How so?
No cravings, tons of nausea.
Really?
Everything's different, but I'm enjoying it. I feel good. I feel energetic.
And it looks like that little guy of yours is pretty energetic and so happy.
I'm in love. I'm obsessed. And I don't even feel guilty about it.
Rihanna was asked about her second pregnancy at the 2023 Met Gala. She said it was different from the first one with less cravings and that she is enjoying it.
And that's not anything that we're gonna try to change. It's not something you could shut off if you've ever been in love.
Are
we're
you
just
seeing
trying
him?
to be.
Are you seeing each other again?
No, he's in a relationship of his own. I'm single, but we have maintained a very close friendship ever since the restraining order has been dropped. We've just worked on it little by little, and it has not been easy. You know, it's not easy. But
you know, there were rumors that you saw him in Saint-Tropez. Did you?
The conversation opens with a question about the current state of Rihanna's relationship with Chris Brown. She shares that they've been working on rebuilding their friendship. While she acknowledges they're not together romantically, she admits there's still love between them and likely always will be, as feelings like that don't just switch off.
But you still gotta keep it together, because when Rocky comes home, I don't want to look busted either, you know? For me, my lazy days consist of throwing my shit up in a scrunchie. So I find myself always wearing a scrunchie on my wrist. I want it out of the way. I don't want it to be on my kids when I lean forward.
Here, Rihanna is telling what she does on a lazy day. She says that she always has a scrunchie on her wrists.
yes, I did. We went to a mutual friends party on a yacht, and
What happens when you see him?
it's awkward. It's awkward because I still love him, you know.
Does your heart do this? Does your heart do that whoosh thing?
My stomach drops.
Yeah.
Yes, and I have to maintain this poker face and, you know, not let it get to the outer part of me. I have to maintain that and suppress it. But
Rihanna clarifies that although they remain close friends, Chris is in a relationship and she is single. She explains that ever since the restraining order was lifted, they've been slowly mending their bond.
Interpret it and understand that that's not going to go away. That is peaceful. You know, when you don't understand those feelings, you can make a lot of mistakes.
Do you think Chris Brown is a true love for you?
Absolutely. I think he was the love of my life. He was the first love. And I see that he loved me the same way.
When asked about a recent sighting with Chris in Saint-Tropez, Rihanna admits they did meet at a mutual friend's yacht party.
We were very young and very spontaneous. Like we ran free, we ran wild. We were falling in love and going at a really rapid pace. That we forgot about ourselves as individuals. We forgot about our personal discipline. We needed something to completely shut that off and show us what we were missing.
Rihanna reflects on her past with Chris, calling him her first love and the love of her life. She reveals that while they were very young and impulsive, their relationship burned brightly, running free and wild.
What we were taking for granted, and if we really care about each other, care about each other's happiness, so it's not even about us being together. I truly love him, so the main thing for me is that he is at peace. You know, I'm not at peace if he's a little unhappy, or he's still lonely, or, you know, that's I care. Like I'm, you know, it actually matters that he finds that peace.
Despite no longer being together, Rihanna emphasizes that her main concern is Chris's happiness and peace. She admits that it still affects her when she knows he's unhappy or lonely, showing that her care for him transcends their romantic past.
P. Diddy had freak-off parties, a bacchanalian orgy, essentially. And politicians went to those parties. Celebrities went to those parties. Sports stars went to those parties. He had hidden audiovisual blackmail thing going on, like Epstein, like Craig Spence. Can P. Diddy blackmail those people by themselves? Or is he blackmailing for some kind of covert entity? Like the Epstein grand jury in Florida.
Rumors have long circulated about P. Diddy's notorious freak-off parties, where celebrities, politicians, and sports stars gather. The Epstein scandal don't stop there. The conversation touches on a grand jury in Florida, where corruption was exposed in the case against Epstein. As details unfold, U.S. Attorney Damian Williams, now overseeing P. Diddy's case, is painted as a key figure. Whose steers back to the notorious parties, orgies with hidden cameras, where P. Diddy could potentially have blackmail material on some of the most powerful people.
In a world where algorithms and financial incentives dictate the information we see, it's easy for important stories to slip through the cracks. This is powerful because it can heavily influence and divide public opinion. Much of what I do on Soft White Underbelly is about digging deeper and trying to see beyond our own biases. And this is why Ground News is a perfect fit for my channel. On any given news story, their app and website combine every article published on it worldwide. We can also see context on each news source, like where it may fall on the political spectrum.
In a captivating retelling, Tanea recalls a fateful night that forever changed her perspective on celebrity culture. It all started when she was just a girl, interviewing for a chance to connect with the world of fame. Little did she know that connection would lead her to one of P. Diddy's infamous parties, sparking a whirlwind of wild memories and unsettling revelations.
And how credible it is based on use of subjective language. This is important to think about if you're interested in forming an educated opinion on topics that are in the news, especially on key issues as we head into a polarized election season. I particularly like their blind spot feed, dedicated to showing news stories that are underrepresented in mainstream media. So I encourage you to check them out at ground.news/SWU. Subscribe through my link to save 40% off their Vantage plan. By subscribing or even gifting it to someone you know.
As Tanya shares her story, she reflects on her first encounter with the enigmatic prince who invited her into a glamorous yet chaotic scene.
You're helping hold the media accountable. and you're helping support this channel. Thank you for watching. It was December of 22.
Oh yeah, about to be 23.
December of 22, you were here. You did our first interview. You were just some girl that I met through a friend.
Right.
And you were doing this interview, and you mentioned something about...
I accidentally mentioned it too. Like it slipped out.
About P Diddy.
About P Diddy.
You went to one of his parties.
Yeah. Crazy party.
And he's in the news now because of all the scandal.
At the heart of her narrative is the jaw-dropping moment when she realizes she's bound for P. Diddy's estate.
And they didn't believe me. But when it started coming out, people were like mentioning me like, you were telling the truth about it. And I'm like, duh, I'm not gonna lie about something like that. And I kind of like tried to briefly talk about it because I knew it wasn't gonna seem true because it was just too much. It was too
crazy.
many. It was too crazy. People were gonna think that I was just lying. It had like a lot of people involved, celebrities and stuff.
Tanea paints a vivid picture of the scene, security measures in place, phones confiscated, and a vibrant energy that could only belong to a high-profile gathering.
So I was trying to be real vague about it, but that party traumatized me.
How did you get invited to it?
By being with a prince that I met in LA. He lived in Glendale, California. And, you know, long story short, I got out of this crazy little contract and I was looking for somebody to invest in me. And I knew somebody who knew somebody that was like, I want to introduce you to a prince. He know a lot of celebrities, producers and stuff.
As she mingled, the atmosphere transformed into something she had never expected. She describes how attendees, seemingly under the influence, danced and drank freely, creating a raucous environment that was both thrilling and alarming.
So I never put two and two together that this prince knew P. Diddy as the producer.
And you say a prince. Prince of what?
He was Arabian prince.
Really?
Yes. Wow. And he really was a prince for real. But I wasn't worried about him being a prince. I was worried about who he actually knew. So when he invited me to, he met me, he said, I want to invite you tomorrow to Music Ultra Week, whatever. And it's like an event.
Things took a turn when Tanea caught the eye of one of P. Diddy's sons. He handed her a pair of shoes that would grant her access to the inner sanctum of the party.
Ultra Music Week. It's like an event for like 2 weeks where people party, including P. Diddy. And they party at Club Live. They party at like just in South Beach, Star Island, like where P. Diddy stays or throw his freak-offs at. And I never knew that we were gonna go there because I was there for 2 weeks and I knew it was something fishy. He kept saying, I got a surprise for you, I got a surprise for you.
It became clear that the gathering was far from a simple party, revealing layers of complexity and moral ambiguity.
I'm like, but I'm only supposed to stay for 2 weeks and I'm here longer than 2 weeks. And it was almost a month. It was basically a month by then. And he was like, no, because I just want you to meet one special person. So he ended up telling me, like, when we went to Club Live, he was like, guess where we're going tonight? I'm like, where? He's like, to P. Diddy's house. I'm like, oh, really? I'm like, that's crazy because I hear a lot about P. Diddy, and I'm like, his house for what? Like, to go sing? He's like, no, he's throwing this wild party.
Tanea felt trapped, sensing an overwhelming energy that suggested not all was as it seemed. She reflected on the predatory nature of the environment and the lurking dangers she hadn't anticipated.
I'm like, oh, okay. So we went from Club Live. It ended at like, the clubs end at like 3 or 4 and not 2, like how out here is. So we waited around the mansion, the Prince's mansion, for about an hour. And then as soon as 6:30 hit, we went. We all got in the car, like a big Uber, and me and all the other girls. Now, mind you, I'm the only black girl. So I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I'm about to meet P. Diddy. Oh, you know, like, I'm probably gonna have to sing for him.
With the feeling of eyes upon her, Tanea recognized the stark reality of the situation. She understood that she was being watched and weighed heavily in the eyes of those around her.
And I just tried to like keep my composure. So we get there, and that's when stuff got weird. And that's why they lock up our phones, because they know what we see in there, you know, it's he can get in trouble, like right now.
In a moment of clarity, Tanea knew she had to escape. The chaotic party atmosphere, combined with the pressure to conform to unwritten rules, pushed her to the brink.
I think
More eyebrows is the potential cover-up, as Damian Williams, who had previously been involved in the Epstein case, is now overseeing P. Diddy's investigation. Stay tuned for more.